Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshulamitan Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Yam Pravajantam Anupetya Apetya Krityam Apayano Viraha Katara Ajuhava Utreti Tan Maitaya Taravo Vinedus Tam Sarvabhutam Hridayam Munimanatosmi Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayat Bhaktya Vihina Padada Lakshai Kiptastikamari Tarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Saranam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanadavindam Tavevasmi Najivami Tvayavina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayanam Charanandike Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So we're going to continue and first offer our most humble obeisance unto the lotus feet of our beloved Gurus. Unto Sri Guru Pada Padmanita Leda Bhavishta Om Vishnu Padasto Tarasat Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru Pada Padmanita Leda Bhavishta Om Vishnu Padasto Tarasat Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj under our exalted Rupanuga Guru Varga and all the assembled Vaisnavas and Vaishnavis. Okay, so Gaur Purnima is finished, and we were reading the Sri Nimbaditya Mahatmya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, beautiful recollection of the meeting of Jiva Goswami and Nityananda Prabhu in Navadvip, and Nityananda Prabhu guiding Jiva Goswami all around Navadvip and telling him about the different pastime places, extraordinary tattva, and pastimes in Navadvip. Obviously, we didn't do the whole book, and neither did we finish, but we left off with one point that I wanted to continue. First, the last thing we had heard was Nityananda Prabhu explaining how the different sampradaya acharyas, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Vishnu Swami, and Nimbaditya, or Nimbarka, had all met Mahaprabhu during their manifest presence. They had come to Navadvip and had been given darshan and mercy and instruction to continue with their own teachings, their own specialities, and to keep what he had told them confidential, because that was meant to be delivered to the world at a particular time in a particular way. And he also explained how each of them would appear with him at that time also in different roles. The last one we heard about was Nimbaditya, Nimbarka Sampradaya. And he, of course, came as Keshav Kashmiri, right? And he was preaching Dvaitavad. So he continued, Mahaprabhu continued his conversation with Nimbaditya. And this is what I wanted to read. This is a very important part of understanding Mahaprabhu's method of reconciling the different points, perspectives of the different sampradayas. None of them are wrong. They're just different perspectives and not the full-fledged conception that he came to give. the Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. And nevertheless, he accepted two essential conceptions from each of the four sampradayas, two specialities from each one of them. And so here he speaks to Nimbaditya, and he says, "O great personality, from the Madhva Sampradaya, I will accept two essential principles: the refutation of Kevala Dvaita, that means exclusive monism, that had been propounded by Shankaracharya, right? So from Madhva is very powerful in that. So from him I will accept that, and service to Sri Krishna's deity form, having accepted this form as eternal." And we know Madhvacharya had some very extraordinary pastimes with his deity. Remember that story of how he had saved a boat on the bank of, what ocean is that? On the western bank of India. Any rate, near Goa, he had been there, and his boat was floundering, and he saved it by his mystic power, and the man offered him anything that he wanted. He said, "All I want is some tilak." There was this giant chunk of tilak. And they took it off the boat with great difficulty, this chandan, huge block, and it broke, and when it broke, there was a beautiful deity inside. And he wanted to take it to his mat, which is very far away, many miles, and many, many men could not carry this deity, but Madhvacharya carried it himself. Remember, he was an incarnation of Vayu. And so he very easily by himself carried the deity all the way, and then he installed it, and there were many pastimes with this deity. And so Madhva was responsible for initiating, inaugurating deity worship in a special way. I mean, deity worship had been going on from time immemorial, but the way that he was doing it, Mahaprabhu took that and integrated it into his own sampradaya. And then he said, from Sri Ramanuja, I will accept exclusive devotion, ananya bhakti, and service to the devotees. Very important principles. Ananya bhakti is not easily understood. The idea of exclusive devotion is very hard for people brought up within the varnashram who equate the worldly responsibilities of the different varnas and ashrams with their duty to God. But to completely separate all material conception of self and to be able to understand what is real service to God, sometimes there's an overlap there. But as explained in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarva dharmam padikjagya mamekam sharanam vraja. Ultimately, all the principles of varnashram, they can't bind one who's an exclusive devotee. He may act within them, he may act without them, but whatever he's doing is exclusively meant for the satisfaction of the Lord, and there's no separate interest. Anyabhilashita, shunyam, no separate interest, right? Which varnashram actually encourages, right? To promote one in happy family, promotion in the next lifetime, mystic powers, whatever it is. So many other goals. Karma Mishra, Jnana Mishra, Arop Siddha Bhakti, right? So exclusive devotion and service to the devotees. There must be service to the devotees. This is a principle that is spoken everywhere by Narad Muni, by Sri Krishna himself, Srimad Bhagavatam, so many instructions in the different cantos, and Rupa Goswami, right? When he gives the ultimate instruction, Tishtan Vrajay Anuragi Jananugami, right? That one should understand that the most important instruction is to engage oneself 24 hours a day in serving, glorifying the Lord. And in order to do that, living in Vrindavan, either physically or by mind, and following and serving those great personalities who are themselves following the eternal residence of Braj. We're serving personalities like Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and those who follow them in succession. Tishtan Vraje Tad Anuragi Jananugami. They're following the eternal associates of Krishna in Vrindavan, our acharyas. They have taken the role as sadhaks to teach us how to perform sadhana. They themselves are internally serving the associates of Krishna, and we're learning to follow them. Right? So without service to the devotees, Krishna says in 11th canto that one who says he's my devotee, he may be my devotee, maybe not. But one who serves and says he's the devotee of my devotee, that person I accept. And Mahaprabhu himself, right? What did he say? Gopi Bhartur Pada Kamalayor Das Udas Anudas. I'm the servant of the servant of the servant. So Krishna says, one who serves me, all right, maybe. But one who serves my devotee, I'm even more pleased by that. Right? So it's the same principle that we should understand in our society of devotees, that one may be very close to Sri Guru, but Guru is actually more pleased when you're serving his other disciples. This is the real mark of a devotee, the humility and the desire to take care of the Tadiya, those who are very dear to Sri Guru. If you serve them, then you become even more close to Sri Guru. So, Ramanuja, exclusive devotion, Ananya Bhakti, and service to the devotees. Then, from Sri Vishnu Swami, I will accept the sentiment that Bhagavan Sri Krishna alone is my everything. Tvadiya Sarvasya Bhav, and the path of spontaneous devotion, Rag Marg. Now that's another point, right? When we talk about exclusive devotion can be manifested in Vaidhi Marg or Rag Marg. But in Vaidhi Marg, that exclusive devotion does not find its complete fulfillment in the sense that one's service is guided by the knowledge that Krishna is God. And so that inhibits the intimacy of the service. And that's described by Krishna's Kaviraj in the 4th chapter of Adi Leela. He calls it crippling effect. But in Braj, there is none of that. Krishna is not seen as God. He's only understood in terms of the relationship that devotees have with him. In the ordinary way, Naravat Leela, human-like Leela. And to those devotees, they're called Ragatmika devotees. Their very nature of their Atma is filled with spontaneous devotion to the object of their love, Sri Krishna. So Raganuga means to follow them, right? Ragmarg, when one's devotion is performed on the platform of spontaneous attraction, just by hearing about Krishna's Leela, just by hearing about Krishna's devotees, not guided by rules and regulations, although there's an overlapping there, obviously. Rules and regulations are meant to guide us to service to Sri Krishna, but the motivation becomes different. In Vaidhi Bhakti, we're guided by principles, by knowledge, by fear, even by guilt, depending on what level we're on. But Ragmarg is just a spontaneous blooming of love just by hearing. And it has the feature of wanting to serve in a very particular way, right? but also under the guidance of a particular dear associate of Sri Krishna. So one who is in the mood of Vatsalya, they're not aspiring to become Mother Jashoda or Nanda Maharaj. They're aspiring to be in their company and to follow their mood of service and to serve them. And the same with the cowherd boys. Remember when Brajanath is talking to Gopal Guru, and he's revealing his heart, how he wants to serve. Actually, no, this is prior. This is to Raghunath Das. Later, Gopal Guru gave them more instruction. But when he first explained it, he said, I want to be an associate and assistant to Subal. And he calls him Brother Subal. And he explained the particular service he wanted to do, but under the guidance of Subal. And Vijay Kumar had the similar sentiment to be under the guidance of Lalita and those in her group to do a special kind of service. Right? So this is Rag Marg, the awakening of a particular mood of service, right, in whatever rasa sthayibhav that would be, but also in the company of particular devotees. Anugatya, that is always the guiding principle in our line. So service to the devotees that we heard from Ramanuja means to serve the Ragatmika devotees. And so that we're taking guidance from the line of Vishnu Swami in Rag Marg, right? Not Vaidhi Bhakti, but Rag Marg. And this complete surrender, Krishna is my all in all, my only, my everything. Right? And then, something more, two essential conceptions from Nimbaditya, the person he's speaking to, from your sampradaya, I will accept two supremely essential principles. To exclusively take shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Radhika, Ekanta Radhika Ashraya. And to get more of that, we can look to the writings of Sri Raghunath Das. He says, so exclusive shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Radhika and the sentiments of the gopis. So you see how these intertwine, right? Exclusive devotion, Ananya Bhakti, service to the devotees. Which devotees? In what way? Krishna alone is my everything. Rag Marg is my method, right? The means in which I am following. And shelter of Srimati Radhika and the sentiments of the gopis. And this we heard about, and obviously from what Madhvacharya, the destruction of the impersonalist conception, right, and the worship of the deity, all to help us along these lines. But all 8 of these principles Mahaprabhu integrated into his teachings, into his Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva teachings. And this Anarpita Charam Charat Karanaya Vitirna Kalo Samar Payitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Sabhakti Shriyam. Now there's this beautiful collection of brief lectures by Srila Prabhupada. I guess they call them shorts nowadays. And every time I go on Facebook, I'm getting dozens of those. Even regular YouTube, so many of them are coming up. It's so nice. And I was just hearing many, many times about Srila Prabhupada talking about this same point, this exclusive devotion to Srimati Radhika and the mood of the gopis, this Madhurya Bhav that Mahaprabhu came to give. He said, this is our line. This is the speciality of our line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the teachings of this Madhura Ras. And Madhura Ras means what? It means the service of those devotees in the service of Srimati Radhika. Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayar Dasa Das Anudas. Right? This is what Mahaprabhu came to give. And for us, that means our highest aspiration would be, therefore, that Manjari Bhav. And this does not change the idea of exclusive devotion to Krishna. The gopis are endowed with this special mood, right? There are two kinds of moods of service to Krishna. There's the Sambhog Ichamai, where one wants to be a direct beloved or lover of Krishna, like Radhika and her friends, Vishaka, Lalita, and so many of the gopis in the different camps. And they're serving Krishna and satisfying his calm by their direct service with him as lovers. But then there's another kind of service where Krishna is the hero, Krishna is the beloved, and those devotees want to make him happy in that way, but they want to do it by assisting Srimati Radhika and her direct associates. Tat tat bhav ichamai. So their mood is that they're servants of Srimati Radhika. And they don't have the desire to serve with Krishna directly, because that gives them an opportunity to enter into intimate service as younger maidservants and environments where the other gopis, who are friends of Radhika, but in some ways like equals. And so in some environments, Radhika is alone with Krishna. And if the other gopis were to come into that, then it might create some contrary feelings, right? And so the Manjaris, they can enter into that because they have no desire for themselves to be with Krishna directly. Now, don't think that this kind of competition and envy has any connection with the mundane. Absolutely not. But nevertheless, just as when we get a little glimpse of that, when Srimati Radhika had abandoned the Rasa Leela and Krishna had gone after her, and they had reunited and were alone together, and all the gopis were looking for them, right? They were looking, where's Krishna? Where's he gone? Oh, he's with some special gopi. He's not with us, he's with her. She must be the one who's pleased him more than any of those, right? What is that? Anararita nunam, that famous verse. And then when they were all getting closer to discovering where Radha and Krishna was, Radhika wanted to stall Krishna, to reunite Krishna with all of the other gopis. That was the feeling in her heart. She wanted them to be with him as well. But Krishna was thinking, though, if they see us together at this time, with me exclusively with Radhika, it will create an emotion that will be unfavorable for the joining together in perfect Rasa Leela. The perfect Rasa Leela is where Radhika is the center jewel with me, and all the other gopis are dancing and pleasing me in this way, but they still understand that Radhika is topmost and supreme. So he disappeared, and Radhika was left alone in separation. And then when the gopis found her, rather than finding her as their competitor and the one that Krishna alone was with, they then saw her in a mood of separation that was so profound and intense. They recognized that, oh, she is the greatest among us. And she's also experiencing so much separation, just like us, and it unified them in their mood of love and desire to make Krishna happy. Oh, he's gone. Now how will he become happy? Unless he's with us dancing, how will he be happy? And then they began to sing the Gopi Geet, the song of selfless, pure love of such extraordinary nature that Krishna, hearing that, ran back to them, and then they had the beautiful Rasa Leela. Right? So Mahaprabhu wanted to bring devotion to this highest stage of understanding the perfection of love of God is personified in Srimati Radhika, and our highest aspiration as jivas is to somehow enter into the service of Radhika. And we have a quote here from Raghunath Das Goswami from his Vilap Kushmanjali, Asha Badad Amrita Sindhu Maya Katanchit Kalo Mayati Gamita Kila Sampratam Hi Twanchet Kripam Mai Vidayasisi Naivakim Me Pranavrajena Chavadoru Vakadinapi. O Vadoru Sri Radha, the fulfillment of my desire is as rare as obtaining the ocean of nectar. I am eagerly spending the days of my life in the hope of attaining it. Now please be merciful to this sorrowful person. Without your mercy, my life, my residence in the land, in the land of Braj, and even my serving Sri Krishna are all useless. Wow. So, speaking thus, Sri Gaurachandra disappeared, and Sri Nimbaditya began to weep, intoxicated by prema. And so, Sri Nimbaditya first offered his obeisance to his guru's lotus feet. He then left for another place to disseminate, to teach Krishna Bhakti. So, goes on, but I'm going to skip to the beginning of chapter 17. At the end of this, after Nityananda Prabhu had taken Sri Jiva Goswami so many places and explained such profound tattva, now they come back to the yog pit, to the house of Srimati Shachi and Vishnupriya, and Mother Shachi joyfully cooks for all of them. They have a kirtan festival. Incredible joy is experienced by all. So then we go to this chapter 17, and this is Nityananda Prabhu answering questions from Sri Jiva Goswami. Okay, now, if you just allow me to pause for a second, I'm going to stop this lecture